everybody. Welcome to the Training, Learning, and Development community. Thanks for joining us. Happy Monday. We've got a great guest this morning for our community showcase, Alex Salas. I'm really, I'm glad I'm finally getting the opportunity to kind of give him a bunch of questions to answer because he had me on his broadcast a little while ago. And Alex is somebody that I feel like I should have known a lot longer than I actually have. So this is an excellent opportunity. Alex, thanks for supporting TLDC by joining us with your membership. And yeah, this has given us an opportunity for us to actually chat. And I've got, I don't know, looks like there's 15 questions. People are submitting questions now that want to get to know you a little bit better too. And we've got about 30 minutes to do it. So have you had your coffee? You ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
I know you have like a huge fan club. Every time that I sort of like consider who you are and the stuff that I see like coming across LinkedIn, I'm like, this guy has his fingerprints all over the place as far as communities are concerned. So I am like so impressed how you've gotten out there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's well, you know, it's the people who support me that make it possible. I will do it anyway, but I mean, without their support, it can't happen. So we got a couple of folks over here that are e-launchers. So shout out to Anu and Cheryl. So
yeah,
and Emily has been a launcher as well.
No, that's great.
Emily, I feel like Emily Wood, the author, is here. Hey, what's up, Emily?
Nice. Yeah, I feel like we're kind of aligned in that way where both of us really like to just sort of like get out there and help people. So it's good to talk to you. So let me start out with this. Your instructional design journey, kind of looking at your LinkedIn profile, you have been in this space for a number of years. I mean, heck, it looks like it's been like well over a decade you working in education. Tell us a little bit more about like your instructional design journey. Like how'd you get started in this?
Well, it's a little bit of fate and a little bit of faith, if you will. So the two F words, and not the ones that we always use. And the main issue here is, it's interesting because my career started. I was in the Navy. I was a server with Marine Corps units. I was a Navy sailor, U.S. Navy sailor. But the word sailor is very short because I was always with Marines in the field. So the in that environment in the military, you have leadership, you have support, but a lot of it is what you make it. It's your own, right? So if you're asking, hey, how do I do this? Your supervisor will be like, do you look it up? Where's the regulation? Go find out. So that was the whole thing in the beginning. And so when I caught on to that, then I started having success on my own. And once I made my first leadership role, I started developing other people. So I started helping people study for the test, because when you try to promote in the military, there are two components. One is you got to pass this knowledge test and score well. And the second is, obviously that what everybody else does in the world, which is, your boss has to like you. You can't be an a-hole, that type of stuff, the human stuff. So I noticed that I was having fun sharing what I did, my strategy, right? And the folks that follow what I did promote it. So to me, it was like, wow, this is cool. So you get that first, you get that nice feeling, right? We always get lonely, which is like what you did worked. What you did actually changed somebody's lives. So from there, I started looking it up, and then I ran into a senior leader that was doing classes. He was already retired. And I'm like, oh, this guy's just running around giving classes and he gets paid for it. That's nice. I want to do that, right? And then I found out there was a story, a history. There was a field that this happened in the private world, and you can actually make a beautiful living doing it. So I was like, oh yeah, I need to find out about this. So I went the other way around. I wasn't really accidental. I went and got degrees, right? Like everybody else today thinks, I'm going to go get a master's. And that master's is just going to get me ready for everything. And then I found out that wasn't the truth, right? So, I started as a learning facilitator, PowerPoint assassin.
Mhm.
I did all the wrong things so I can improve and do the right things.
Yeah.
So it was interesting when I say faith and faith is that in 2013 I made a top role, director of training systems in a company in St. Louis, and I thought I made it. I was happy. I was like, oh
Mhm.
my god, this is great. 6-figure salary, brand new car, house on the golf course, blah 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 blah. 6 months later, I got laid off.
Hmm.
And so until that point, nothing really teaches you how to be sustainable and how to be proactive in your own career and development and professional brand. There's something like that. Life is the best teacher, right?
Right.
So from there, I mean, that was a hard hit, man. I know,
Mhm.
no doubt. Yeah, I look confident in a lot of places and I tell you things, but that's because of everything I've done already in the last 12 years.
Yeah.
But from that point, from 2013 on, I was not an instructional designer. And I became an instructional designer because of that event. So I pursued I was making 6 figures. I was already a senior leader for 6 months, but that meant nothing to me, right? Because I'm thinking, okay, who's gonna hire you? Like, who's gonna hire you
Yeah.
with a 6 month experience as a senior leader? That's not gonna happen. So what are you gonna do? So well, I tried anyway, but I knew it wasn't gonna work. So it didn't work, and I needed to work because I was living. It wasn't like I could sit around for 9 months. And so I saw this job that was instructional designer. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And the reason I said I'm going to do that is because on my own terms, I had already sort of venture into e-learning development. So everything I
Mhm.
was doing, I was complementing with e-learning and putting curriculum together and stuff like that. And so I went for the job, and then they said, hey, you need to make something on StyleLearn for us. And I was like, what the hell is StyleLearn? I was one of those Captivate snubs,
Yeah.
because since 2004 I was using Captivate. So I was like, Starling. Who are these losers that want Starling?
Yeah.
What is this? No Captivate. So I found Starline. I built the sample, got the job, and that started the career of instructional design.
Wow. So do you feel like you had to kind of relearn some of your skills or kind of unlearn some of the old skills and build new ones and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kind
It
of
was a
reinvent
complete,
yourself?
yeah. It was a redirect. Yeah, it's a redirect of what I was doing because until that point, I was first of all, I was just going to the job and doing the job thing, right?
Yeah.
And if anybody's watching here and you're doing that, you need to like think hard today and change your mode. So that means that at any point you can lose what you have,
Hmm.
and you should be ready for something, or you should be ready to pivot. So from my perspective, I was from that moment on, I was ready to pivot. I wasn't on LinkedIn until that point. I was treating LinkedIn like everybody else. I was like, I don't have a job. Oh, I'm on LinkedIn. I have a job. I don't need LinkedIn.
Right.
Just like the resume, right? So all those things now need to be completely active all the time, regardless of whether you're doing amazing on your job or not. You should be active on LinkedIn. You should be active in communities like this, and you should have a nice grasp of what the job posts are asking for,
Hmm.
and also maintain your portfolio. So yeah,
Wow, that is really, really profound stuff. It's not even stuff that we typically talk about in these kind of showcases, but that might be some of the most important things that anyone could take away from a conversation like that. Like Valerie is saying, I saw staying agile. It's so true.
yeah. Valerie is like one of my favorite ladies in the industry. She knows we're friends, and I love her creativity. Hi,
Yeah.
Valerie.
So with that in mind, now I do want to ask you about e-learning launch, the whole concept of it, the idea of it, like how did that begin? How did you get into that?
So again, it was a situation of observation and what can I do about it, right? And so if we backtrack, this has only been a year. It's only been like what 14 months or
Mhm.
so, and it turned out that I was in my career. I was already kind of like I would say I was very comfortable at the top of my career, right? So I
Mhm,
was like,
mhm,
I wasn't, it was interesting because I having the taste of the leadership before, I was like, I'm cool. I like the creative part. I like the creative side of it. I'm stick around the creative side. I'm going to be an instructional designer. And I got this job with Dell. So I was working with Dell Technologies. And one of the biggest things I always had was like, wow, brand, right? Like, wow, working for a brand that you can actually tell people, hey, I work for Dell or I work
mhm,
for, right? So that's another thing that I had as a notion that was, I think it was mistaken. So, and I usually now when I tell people and I give advice to the launchers is don't eat up the brand because that doesn't mean anything. So,
mhm,
you could be working with this highly recognized brand, but when you look at their L&D practices, they're garbage, right? They're like just courses that they really don't know what they're doing, that type of stuff.
mhm.
So with Dell, it was interesting because I was in a remote position. I was making great money. Everything's super comfortable. And I think it was the problem with that it was too comfortable.
Yeah.
And I sensed there was something missing.
Mm,
And then at the same time, concurrently, I had all these people coming through LinkedIn and asking me for advice and hitting me up with things like, hey, I just got a degree at the beginning of the year. It's been 9 months, can't get a job, right? I have a master's in instructional design, this and that, can't get a job. I got this and this, I can't get a job. So I'm going, okay, wow. I mean, I get it. I understand why, but why is this happening and what's going on? And the first question I'll ask is like, okay, great. Let me see how I can help you. What's your portfolio? Crickets, right? So that started things. And I went, okay, this got to be. I started helping people one on one, doing things here and there. I was doing things with Car North. I was doing things with other folks that do like workshops that are free. And I'm going, okay, there's got to be a way that we can do something that we can help a large number of people at the same time and not, be on this one-on-one situation. That's what eLearning Launch was. So I actually reached out to Aaron King, who's my buddy. He's a veteran too, awesome designer. And they were like, hey man, I got this idea. What do you think? And we launched it. And I was just 1 month in being a consultant. So I had like
mm,
3 gigs going. Then I said, like, we're gonna make it work some way or another. So, but the thing is that I was always active outside of the work that I was doing, right? So just like I'm talking here with you, this is one activity of what I would do, right?
mhm,
And this is helping some people here, and is also obviously helping me for the exposure, and it's helping, and hopefully it's helping the community at large. But the the main thing was that is that how can we set it up so we can help people at the same time, help out a large number of people and get them going where they need to go. And
mhm.
that's what created Not Much.
Wow. So I'm just going to back up a little bit. So you went from Dell and then you took the huge step from working
Took
for
a
Dell
dive, yeah,
Technologies to becoming a consultant.
yeah,
Can you
yeah.
give me
So
a
I
little
took
bit
a,
of
I
that
took,
process there?
sorry, what was that?
Oh, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Just
Yeah, so
making
I took a leap because the interesting thing about it is, and this is something great is to, if you're looking to get a job or if you're already in a job and you're looking at a strategy, a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to work in corporate brand, it's going to be awesome, all
Mhm,
this stuff, right? Yeah, and it could be. But the thing is, it's all about the environment, the people you're working with, and what are the politics. I mean, there are always politics, no matter what, right? Politics is just the nature of human interaction, groups, and stuff like that. So the larger, the bigger the pond, the more fish in it, and the more the competition, right? So, which I have no problem with competition, but I mean, Dell is a huge organization. That's 180, I think at this point, it's 180,000 people
mhm,
around the world. And the team that I was in was 30 instructional designers, just my team. And there were another 3 teams in there. So,
mm,
yeah. So, I mean, I wasn't even doing anything advanced designing StyleLearn. I could have just sat back, make my money, be happy, right?
mhm,
But I there was something else I needed to do. It just felt, I mean, for the longest time, I got to say this, right? for the since I started going to the conferences, since I started going to StyleLearn, since I started going to LSCon, which started in 2016, 2015, or 2014. Yeah, 2014 or so. I kept looking at people like Kevin Thorne, for example, right? And I found out that Kevin Thorne was a veteran, so I started talking to him about things. And I'm going like, okay, this guy is doing some great things. I got to talk to him. I got to see I want to do what he's doing. And I always thought, okay, I got to be a consultant. I got to be a consultant. This is the way to do it. Because otherwise, you're just doing, again, you go into that one company with a big brand and you realize that it's just a waste of time, right? You're just making courses and not really solving problems and all that stuff. So I found out, and I always had that idea going then. You got to be a consultant. You're going to be a consultant. How are we going to do it? And I always had that mentality as well. Here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand this. When you're Latino and you come from, I'm from Venezuela originally. I grew up, I was born in 1973. I grew up in Venezuela, in Caracas. Since my memories of being 6 years old is that at any point, anybody can come and steal your bike. At any point, anybody can come and steal your shoes. So, when you're Latino, people think, oh, so you got a great community and you're getting all this support and all this stuff. And the thing is that when you're growing up with this mentality of poverty in your head.
Mm-hmm.
You might not be poor, like but you grow with this mentality. So I kind of limit myself in many ways because of that, right? So I was like, oh, well, yeah, but you're going to need money to do that. You can't be a consultant. You're going to need money to start. You can't just, do it. How are you going to pay the bills? You got 3 kids. You got a wife. You got this, right? So all of that kept coming, like reality, as we call it, right? And it was fear. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I pull retirement. I pull all kinds of stuff. This was a bet. This was a bet on myself. I pulled my retirement for 401k, threw it all there. I'm paying penalties this year. Okay. I knew that was going to happen. I already had experience before. And that's a beautiful part. If you pay attention to your life and you actually pay attention to the lessons life is giving you, then later on when you need to apply that knowledge, you'll be on point. So I did that and here we are. And so I made it up. I made it all back and we're good.
That's awesome, man. That's really, really good to hear that. And I can identify. I mean, it's really sort of just interesting here you talk about this because I can completely identify with a lot of the things that you're saying. And yeah, it's really, really poignant to me. I am worried, you're talking about growing up like with the feeling of poverty, maybe not even, sometimes you don't even want to say that you're necessarily poor, but just that feeling of poverty. But what is it in your background or was there somebody that helped push you along to turn you into someone that wanted to help other people? Or was there a situation that made you someone that wanted to help other people with their career, or just be so willing to freely just develop other folks?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think all of us have it. I think everyone has that at their core. And, the rest of it is, all their influences like ego and and self-protection kind of get in the way sometimes, or it's just interest. But yeah, I remember being 9 years old and learning how to do blood pressure and stuff like that in the school in Venezuela. And with a nurse teaching us how to do first aid and stuff like that. And that's a professional service, right? That's a skill of service. So I realized that those things were helpful because you can, diagnose somebody else's problems or solve their problem, right? Like first aid is all about that. It's like problem solving, right? I got a cut, I'm bleeding. Oh, let's stop the bleeding. Let's make sure it's clean. It doesn't get infected, all that. Interesting enough, I had no idea that you fast forward another 20 years or whatever, or 15 years, and I'll be joining the Navy for that job.
Yeah.
So when I actually did not intend to go into that job, my recruiter just, guided me that way. And the dimension I got from my recruiter to get me to sign up for medical was, do you like helping people?
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, yeah, of course. So, all right, good. This is what we should do. So I was like, all right. So that's the short of it. I mean, I think we all have it, and then you just need to embrace it. And the main thing about it, man, is like, regardless of any religious affiliation and stuff like that, I really believe that we're in a compendium, a continuum of energy. So
Mhm.
I'm not doing things to get anything back, but I know that what I'm doing is going to come back to me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, that's so interesting. Now, it feels like as an instructional designer, there have been like it sounds like you've gone through different iterations of your career, just sort of when you start out as a director level, and then when you were at Dell, and just all these different phases that you've gone through. But is there anything in particular that you wish you had known when you started out, like everything that you've learned over the last like decade plus of doing this? If you could go back to yourself, is there something
oh
that you would say?
yeah, I mean, part of what a lot of people know me for is that I've become a student of the field, and so I went back, and that's just because of the military background.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got a master's in training and development, but then I realized that whatever I was learning there was not really the truth. So when you go to these degree programs, you're learning whatever the teacher wants to teach you or whatever they think they know. You're not really learning the absolute, true essence of what you're learning. Hence, the things that I've done of Bloom's taxonomy, not being a tool for learning objectives, ADDIE being such a nebulous thing. So, what I wish that I would have known is, know that, know exactly that um, there is sort of a true in this, and there's also a business environment. And the main revelation I would think is that you don't want to bring schooling practices into the business environment, because no one in business works as like a school.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the main thing. So when I started up, I was eating it all up, ATD style, like learning objectives, and they got to be this, and tests and this and that and stuff like that. And so, eLearning launch, we don't do any testing. It's all about samples. It's about building stuff. It's about creating. And in the process of creation, you get to learn what you're doing, because you get to repeat the actions that enable the creation. So that's, it took what, 12 some years to kind of hone down into that.
Wow. No, that's great. I'll probably have to clip that one and post it out there so that everyone could get can benefit from that piece of wisdom. I like what Karthik was saying here. He says, no one told me that Alex was doing a TED Talk today.
Karthik is hilarious, man. Karthik is he's an launcher, but he should be a comedian, man. He's always got the great lines. And by the way, congratulations to Karthik. He just got a job. So another launcher that landed a job.
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's talk about like who or what just keeps you inspired to keep doing what you're doing. I know you put in, major hours, you've got a family, you've got other things going on, but you're always working. Is there anything, what keeps you going?
It's hard to say, man. That's a very good question, because I don't really have a true answer, but I think it's love. If you're gonna look at it, it's love. That's what I love doing. And I think with age, you start sort of shifting priorities and things like that, right? So yeah, I have a family, but guess what? I always look at it in this way. And there's a beautiful book out there that people should look up, the Bhagavad Gita, from the consciousness of Krishna, where it kind of breaks down the notion that, hey, you need to be working for a greater purpose at all times. And so regardless, instead of me thinking, oh, I'm getting up a Saturday morning and I'm missing sleep, right? I'm getting up early Saturday morning to do something or do a live cast or something like that. It's more like I'm actually getting to do something to contribute to the universe, to the people,
Mhm.
rather than thinking I'm losing sleep, or it's not benefiting me, or I'm taking away time from my family. Well, my family's asleep Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Kids sleep till noon. So guess what? I'm busy doing some work. And that's basically what guides everything.
Wow, that's great. Really surprised. I don't think anyone's ever referenced the Bhagavad Gita in a TLD cast. So that's really, really impressive.
We're breaking a bunch of furs over here, huh?
I know. So, we have, I mean, I feel like I've only gone like 5 minutes, but we're already like close to the our 30-minute mark. Let me ask you a couple questions here that like Karthik has submitted. I saw one from Darcy. What's your favorite thing? This is Karthik's question. What's your favorite thing about eLearning Launch? And he says, as a learner, I know mine, but what's your favorite thing about eLearning Launch?
I think the biggest thing, it was always the unexpected stuff. The great thing about eLearn Launch is the unexpected items of it. Like the expected stuff was, hey, I've been doing this, I got a good formula, I'm gonna teach people some stuff, they're gonna learn it, and they're going to create some awesome things, right? That's the expected stuff. The unexpected stuff was the connection that the launchers get together, people getting together, connecting. We have this internal community chats, and they just help each other out and figure things out, which led to the discovery, or let's say led to the confirmation of myself, that I don't need to be involved in the situation. I just need to be in the live sessions to help them out. But they always jump and help each other. The second part of that too is that the transformation of people from what they were, where they were at, to becoming a launcher, because it's not just a moniker, it's not just like a label, it's an attitude. So there's like an attitude, there's a culture, there's some things that I provide to them in the beginning, and it works for some people, it doesn't work for others. And it's an interesting thing, because I'm not trying, like other training programs, many of the other training programs we go to, they try to like please you all the time, right? They try to say like, oh, you're comfortable, you're okay, everything's fine, da, 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 da. And I'm not doing that. All I'm doing is communicating. I'm doing what we should do with adults, which is communicating expectations, having that agreement, and then holding you accountable. And if I say, hey, don't be a lurker, which is usually what I say, right? Hey, don't be a lurker. Turn your camera on. Let's talk, right? You got to get past that BS that you have in your head. I'm an introvert. I don't like talking. Oh, it's uncomfortable. It hurts. Learning happens in discomfort. You have to be uncomfortable so you can get comfortable. So that's been the biggest thing. And we see people turn around, like, they came from that mode and now they're like completely active, creating stuff and doing things. So that's always a big reward. Then at the end you hear, hey, I just landed a job, 85,000. I'm like, what? Like, what? Your first gig from being a teacher? So yeah.
That's great. I know.
Yeah,
I
man.
love that answer. That's a really, really good one. Darcy's asking, do you have a favorite L&D podcast or blog?
Well, I gotta give shout outs to Betty Danowitz. If you ask Betty, that's she's also our LearnStarnet, as we call it. She does all the augmented reality courses. So I got to give shout outs to her on that for sure. Interesting enough, one of our well, now we got 4 or 5, but people that have gone through the academy have started their own podcast because Betty ran a podcast class. And so Leslie Early has a nice podcast on instructional design, and she's a teacher, and so those experiences are shared there.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So we'll put Betty. I'll have to put Betty in the notes here. Is there a particular project that you're especially proud of?
Project, meaning that I built or something I did? Or?
Yes. Yeah, that you've built.
Yeah, well, besides obviously the academy, there have been projects that I've done that are were special. So I did a one with Devlin Peck and 2 other people I didn't know when we were in the XAPI cohort one time, I don't know, like 3 years ago. And it was interesting because we kind of hit a muse. We were like the Avengers of a project, and we created this project. It was like XAPI storyline based project, and I made up the story out of nowhere. and we ran with the story, and then we added the XAPI stuff, and then the some lady did like voiceover. All of that is on my website, StyleLearn.com. You can check it out. It's called the LMS Mainer or LMS XAPI challenge. So that was
Mm.
fun. It's interesting because it's not a full like blown completely quality check project. It's
Mhm.
broken in many areas, but the interesting thing is that we did this in like a week or two, and we didn't know each other. So like it was complete. That gave me a big appreciation for collaboration in the same project, which instructional designers often don't get to do.
Wow, that's really interesting. It's at StyleLearn.com.
Yeah, StyleLearn.com is my original consulting company. That's the name of the consulting
Uh-huh.
firm that I do, and I started blogging on that like I don't know 2014. That's actually when I got laid off. I It wasn't as easy to have your own website.
Yeah.
So I mean, relatively easy, but that's when I set up my own website, and it was StyleLearn.net first, and then I had to get the .com. Yeah, so
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
interesting.
there we go. Thanks, Valerie. So Alex, what can we expect from you in 2021? What do you got going? Can you tell us anything that you have planned for this year?
Yeah, so I plan to remain. I plan to remain a consultant. Um, you can maybe call me the evil Tim Slade. Just kidding. I mean,
The evil Tim Slade.
I reached out to the dude to do something like that. He just didn't want to play. But anyway, yeah, I was like, yo, I could be like, hi. you you know, he does his videos, so I'll be like, hey, lock navigation, you could do it. Anyway, so
Oh man,
yeah,
Alex.
so no, I'm gonna keep doing the consulting, but man, the uh the 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 academy right now is like the passion and the focus. If I don't make enough to have a living out of that, but that's the thing. The value of it is just all the people that have become my friends, and
Mhm.
also that I see them grow, that I see them land that first job they wanted in a better condition as they want. So all the focus is going into that. There is a new project that I'm doing right now. That's what's going to take the rest of the year. I've taken 5 teachers. They're currently teaching right now. They're working in schools, and I put this challenge onto them. It's called the Summer Voyage Challenge or Summer Voyage Scholarship. So I'm gonna give them everything and one-on-one feedback with myself, Betty, and Cheryl Cooper, who's another launcher, and she's an expert in resume writing. We're gonna do this where we're gonna coach them from I call it from zero to awesomeness, basically. And the voyage is going to be available for people to purchase either in a payment plan or a one price. It's not going to be something so affordable. I can tell you that much, because again, you're going to be meeting with me like every week, and I'm going to be guiding you every week on what you need to do, making your portfolio, getting skills in Camtasia, storyline, augmented reality, and making quality stuff. So we're putting we always put people to the highest scrutiny there is. So when they post their sample on LinkedIn, everybody's like, whoa, this is amazing. But inside, people don't see the suffering they have to do sometimes. And Anu can probably tell you, reject it, or something like that. So rejection is a welcome word. So that's the next project. It's the biggest project. I will drop you a link here. And like I said, it's an ambitious thing we're doing. I hope I want to see how it works. But the main challenge that I have is for that, because, and the inspiration, I will say, was because I made a post on LinkedIn once where I said, like, we have this ambivalence in the industry, right? Instructional designer, where people say, oh no, you have to go get a degree, or oh no, you don't need a degree, you just
Mhm.
need creativity and passion or whatever. And I'm saying, what you need is, you need drive and you need skills to land a job, right? You need drive, you need skills, you need to have a portfolio, and you're going to put yourself in a competitive position by having the ability to show your work, show the
Mhm.
samples, show the creativeness. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to get 5 teachers to land jobs. They get guaranteed work. That's the one thing about this project. So regardless of what you're doing, if you follow everything by September 25th, which is my birthday, you will be working either full-time employee or you're going to be doing contracting work.
Wow, that is amazing. That is really, really impressive, Alex. I'm excited to see what the results of that look like. I'm sure it's going to be a pretty hefty challenge, but that's very,
I'm
very
excited
cool.
too, but I'm excited and like I'm a combat veteran. So, and what I mean by that is I was in a couple of firefights, and it's that you don't forget those moments. And I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna forget these moments because it's gonna be challenging and scary at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's great. All right, so last question. We're gonna get Wardell Keith Pomeroy's question in here. How did you come up with your title as Chief of Awesomeness?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. It was I can't really explain it because it was something where I was doing the company, I was setting up the company and doing stuff like that. And when you go to set up your own company in the state, it's like the CEO or your owner, right? So I was like, okay, well, I'm an owner, fine. I started as an individual proprietor. Right now, we're going to be able to switch it up to a corporation because of the growth. And so when I was looking at LinkedIn to put it on LinkedIn, I was just sitting there and going, if you look at StyleLearn.com has a tagline that is trademark. It's called StyleLearn is also amazing. And my wife always gave me like the biggest, like, like I roll on that. They're like, oh my God. All right. So I was just looking at titles and I'm going, all right, I'm going to not CEO. I'm not going to put owner. That's boring. So what could it be? And I was like, Chief of Awesomeness.
Yeah.
Shit, why not? Let's do it. So I did it. And when I did it, everybody started reaching out. A bunch of people were like, oh my God, your title's so freaking cool. How do you get it? And I'm like, you have to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, what company is going to allow you to do that? I mean, it'll be awesome. I want to know.
Right.
I want to work for a company. So,
well, it's kind of perfect for you, Alex. So
thank you, man.
Congratulations. Well done there.
That's what's up. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all the time that we have. Alex, I'm so appreciate having, the opportunity to be able to talk with you this last like 40 minutes. I am so hoping that at some point I can meet you like live face to face. I don't recall. Did we actually meet it? I've seen you so much online that I'm not sure if I've actually met you in like Vegas or if I ever ran into you. I mean,
yeah, no, we haven't had the opportunity, I believe. But I as we mentioned before we jumped in here, that we've probably seen each other in passing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's funny, right? Because when you did the interview with me and Learning Expert Talks, by the way, for everybody to know, I have 2 YouTube channels that run. One is for Learn and Launch, and one is for StyleLearn. And we do the interviews in StyleLearn, and eLearn Launch has a lot of the tutorials and a lot of the success stories for e-launchers. So check them out, definitely. And yeah, I remember you did the interview. I was assuming you're Latino because I thought that I already seen you and talked to you. So you're like, no, I'm Filipino. I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, man, we're cool. We're the same inheritance or whatever heritage.
Right. Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. All right. Well, I know that at some point I'm definitely going to meet you because I admire what you do. It's like so impressive, so incredible, and so generous. And obviously, you have a fantastic community that is supporting you, and a lot of people that really adore what you're doing, adore who you are. So, I'm a big fan too, Alex.
Thank you.
You're a good man. Thanks so much for taking the time out to do this, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Monday morning. I hope you have a great week. If you want to end your week on a high note, Friday, we're doing a Women of L&D conference, a virtual conference. It's free. It takes place in the AirMeet platform. We're doing that on Friday. Pop in. The schedule is looking incredible already. We have a great keynote, Heather Younger. Karen North is going to do what looks like a really, really cool session too. Just a great lineup. Check it out on the tldc.com website. I'm so excited about that event. Hopefully, Alex, if you've got any time Friday, you should pop into that one. It's going to be a really, really good event.
We'll definitely try to make it for sure. Thank you so much for everyone that's been here. Luis, you're an amazing person. You're creating greatness and goodness in the industry and the community. So keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad to be part of the TLDC.
Thanks, Alex. All right, everybody, have a great week. We'll talk to you next time.